Arthur Pendragon. Cavalry versatility combo, we already knew it. Let's go. Let's start with Excalibur. Rage requirement 1000, target type AoE. If this commander is serving as primary commander, their troop gains Sword in the Lake effect, launching 2 combo attacks against up to 3 enemy troops in a fan. 1400. Okay, since it's 2 combo attacks, it's going to be 2800. Every additional target reduces the damage. Okay, that is expected. If this commander is serving as the secondary, dealing direct damage 2800. Every additional, okay, 15% reduction. So this is really good because it's so versatile. You can either use it with the combo if you want to use him primary, or you can just use him as a regular skill damage commander, which is, I guess, amazing. So what we need to know, what we need to look at is later skills in his kits. Is it better if he launches 2 combo attacks separately? Maybe it has something that triggers with extra combo attacks. So he'll say, yo, Yassin, what's up, man? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Let's say Dragon. This commander's cav units gain 20% march speed. I mean, okay. Like, march speed on cavalry, it's good, but it's not crucial. Their cavalry units also gain 30% attack and 20% health. So 50% stats. So this skill is good, but it's not incredible because number one, it gives march speed for cavalry. Again, it is good, but it's not crazy. It's way more important when it comes to infantry and archers. But attack is the least desirable stat in Season of Conquest. So if it was defense, that would have been insane. But it also has 20% health. So I guess we'll take it. Then something of Avalon. If this commander is serving as a primary commander, their troop gains, again, something in the lake effect, granting 10% bonus to combo attack damage. Isn't 10% a little bit too low? If this commander is serving as a secondary commander, their troop gains, again, this time the stone effect, 10% bonus to skill damage. If their troop is attacking a field troop, these... Okay, now it makes sense. These damage bonuses multiplied by 3. 30% combo attack damage or 30% skill damage. It's really nice. The versatility is really nice. But if you take a look at, for example, the 4th skill of YSG, right? 50% more skill damage. So I guess it is okay since it gives you the versatility if you want to do, the combo attack shenanigans. But yeah, it's not crazy, but it's also, again, really good. So these 2 skills are really good, but they are not game breaking or anything in my opinion. How about the 4th one? If this commander's troop is attacking a field troop, again, so this is all about open field fighting. Whenever it launches a combo attack or deals direct damage, it has a 30% chance to reduce the target's rage by 100 every second for the next 2 seconds. Cooldown 5 seconds. This march is going to be like zoom zoom, right? It's going to be super fast. If this commander is serving as primary, their troop gains the light of the lake effect. Whenever their troop launches a basic attack, it has a 50% chance, yo, that's super nice, to launch 1 extra combo attack, damage factor 300. So 50% is pretty high. Why is the skill so long? This effect can trigger multiple times per second. Let's say you attacked, right, with your basic attack, and with a 50% chance, you're going to launch 1 extra combo attack. It can trigger multiple times per second. That means that combo attack can also trigger an extra combo attack in the same second. Yo, each time it triggers in a single second, its chance to trigger is reduced to 50% of the previous trigger chance. Right, so it halves, right? First, you have a 50% chance to launch 1 extra combo attack, and if you are lucky, that combo attack will, with a 25% chance this time, will trigger another combo attack, and maybe that combo attack is going to trigger another one with 12.5%, and maybe that one is going to trigger another one with 6.25% or something like that. Cooldown 10 seconds. If this commander is serving as secondary commander, their troop gains the Light of the Stone effect. Whenever their troop deals direct damage, it has a 25% chance to deal additional damage every second for 1 second. Okay, so 25% chance additional damage to all targets of the direct damage. Damage factor 50% of the direct damage's damage factor. These skills are just super long. Alright, so it has a 25% chance to deal additional damage for 1 second. So it's just 25% chance. You are going to deal the 50% of the original damage. But the crucial thing here is that it doesn't show a cooldown. So I guess it has a 25% chance. So it can trigger for both commanders. Is that right? Let's say you are using Arthur as your secondary, and someone said Joan Arthur is the way. Joan uses her active skill. With a 25% chance, she will, like, the troop is going to deal half of that damage again to all targets, right? Because it says every second for 1 second to all targets of the direct damage, the original direct damage. If it's a single target, 50% of the damage to that single target. If it's AoE damage, you are going to deal 50% of the damage to all the targets. And it can trigger again also for the Arthur, because in this case we said that Joan was the primary, so it did trigger with a 25% chance. And it also triggers for Arthur. You are going to deal like half of his original damage, like 1400 this time. This is broken. What? Huo, Nevsky, and Joan, right? These are the main commanders. And then we have either William or Belisarius Prime. Yeah, that's the problem. If we use Joan and King Arthur together, yes, the synergy will be insane because of the Joan's active skill. Just keep triggering every other turn twice. But in this case, if you run 2 cavalry marches, are you going to run like Huo on Nevsky? Because what you are doing here is that you are using 2 single target damage commanders together and 2 AoE commanders together, which is not ideal. You always want to split them and have at least 1 AoE in your march, unless you specifically design that march for something else. For regular open field fighting, you definitely want at least 1 AoE in your march. So even though the synergy seems like really good between Joan and King Arthur, I honestly wouldn't pair them together, I guess. I would just split them. Maybe I would go Nevsky Joan and Huo with King Arthur, because Huo 30% more skill damage and requires 150 less rage to use the active skills. So it is so good because King Arthur's expertise, the second portion, if he is the secondary, the 25% chance, 50% extra damage, it doesn't have a cooldown. So it doesn't matter how fast your cycle is. I would say splitting your Arthur and Joan, using Huo with Arthur and Nevsky with Joan, could be the way, actually. If you use Arthur as a primary, if you want to get the best out of him, right, you will need this. Delta formation. Some people are started like working towards the Delta formation the day Lilith made it available. What I was saying is, if you're going to use Arthur as a primary, you will need Delta formation. So what you can do is, since we have like mostly better armaments for wedge formation, I would say you use him as a secondary until you do have like a really good Delta formation with, you know, some good inscriptions. And then maybe you can switch to using him as the primary, because he is made for combo attacks, but he's also so good with skill damage. That's crazy. I'm only looking forward for Huo Arthur and Joan Arthur. I think Nevsky Arthur is going to be really good as well. Like, he's so good. Yeah, I really like him. Arthur Philip. Oh, wait. I completely forgot about that guy. Yeah, the new leadership commander Philip. Philip's active skill, yeah, multiplied by 2, so damage bonus is going to be 40%. Are you suggesting Philip primary or the secondary? Arthur is a primary, so we are talking about combo attack damage. So for cavalry, it gives attack and march speed. This is, I think, going to be like really bad because like it already has, it's cavalry. It already has a bunch of march speed from Arthur. This extra march speed is going to be so pointless. Also, it does have a lot of attack, and attack is the least desirable stat. You know, we have attack in Season of Conquest pretty much everywhere. This second skill is, I think, is not that great with Arthur. One unit type, it deals more damage, 30% more damage. Like, that is really good. Okay, this one. Whenever their commander troop launches a basic attack, it has a 10% chance to deal direct damage up to 3 nearby enemy troops, which is goes up to 800, and reduce their rage by 50, goes up to 100. Cooldown only 3 seconds. Yeah, okay. VIP support confirmed, no cooldown. Philip does have a like triggerable skill, right? A random skill. If this commander is serving as the secondary commander, their troop gains the Light of the Stone effect, which is whenever their troop deals direct damage, it has a 25% chance to deal extra 50% of the damage to the targets. But this, if you use Arthur as the secondary. But in your pairing, we were using Philip as the secondary, right? Arthur belly, but then Arthur becomes the combo attack, not the skill damage. Arthur Attila might boost Arthur's second combo attack, even if it doesn't combo attack procs a lot, might proc on second. Yeah, it could, but it's not guaranteed, it's a chance. The best march would be Arthur with Liuche, when you can swap Liuche from infantry to cavalry. 100%. What people do is, they're using Attila primary and Liuche secondary, where you can swap the commander from a different troop type in a specific KVK. Like, it is their best performing march, Attila and Liuche, when they swap Liuche to cavalry. And this could have been like the exact same thing, but then you don't need that specific KVK mode because you have Arthur. But if you use Arthur as the secondary, then it's going to be all about skill damage, not combo damage. Cool, Arthur is the way. Looks like it. I mean, to me, it looks like it's going to work so well together. Right now, what I would do as a regular player, if you are a like super high spender, maybe some rare inscriptions or maybe even specials for Delta, So you can try a march like Arthur and Attila. You can try it. However, for regular players, stick to wedge formation for now. And while you're using your Arthur as the secondary with your regular cavalry marches, you can go, like, you can try everything. You can go Huo Arthur. It's going to work amazing. You can go Nevsky Arthur. You can go Joan Arthur. Doesn't matter. Like, it all will work so well. But in my opinion, at least for my account, what I'm going to do is I will probably use Huo with Arthur and Nevsky with Joan. I can switch things up. I can use Nevsky, Arthur, Huo, Joan. We'll see. But that's what I'm going to do for my account. I will invest on him. How many sculptures I have? 470. So we're just missing around 200 sculptures, and it shouldn't be a problem until our next KVK fighting. We will easily be able to max him. Like, he is so good. He's so versatile. So if you don't have really good armaments, you know, inscriptions and all that for your Delta formation, and most likely you don't, as I said, unless you're a massive spender, then use your Arthur as a secondary. Put it behind Huo, Nevsky, Joan, doesn't matter. Try it all. See which one you like the most. And after you get your Delta formation in a good place, we will most likely on the second cycle, on the next cavalry cycle, there is a high chance that we will have another Delta formation cavalry commander. So maybe that one will work, for example, like Liu Che and William Wallace, right? First we got Liu Che, and later on the next cycle we got William Wallace, and William Liu Che just works so good. So maybe it's going to be the same thing for Arthur as well. And until then, you can work on your Delta formation. But for now, I will use him as a secondary with wedge, because a lot of people do have really, really good wedge formations, wedge armaments. Basically, long story short, looks like Arthur works just so well with pretty much any cav commander that makes sense. And by the way, yes, as we already discussed, on paper, Joan and Arthur looks like a really solid option because there is no cooldown on this expertise. And Joan triggers her active skill twice every other turn. Your chances of buffing that damage is way higher because of the double cast. But as I've already explained, I wouldn't put two single target commanders together, which is Huo and Nevsky, and two AoE commanders together, which is Joan and Arthur. I will split them. I will use Joan with either Nevsky or Huo, and Arthur with, again, Nevsky or Huo. It's better. You always want to have at least one AoE commander. Wouldn't Joan and Arthur would be too squishy? It would, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Horn will probably overrage. That is true. Combo attack is superb for rage recovery, so not only for Horn, for commanders that has combo attack. Joan Arthur is not ideal if you're running multiple calves. Yeah, it's not ideal. Joan primary overrages too with 150 rage rejuvenate. That's what he means. If you upgrade this to 3 out of 3, which becomes 150 rage, it makes you overrage. What do you think about the best 3 cavalry march pairings on the field? Okay, so let's talk about best 3 cavalry marches. Now, we have Huo, Nevsky, Joan. We have Belly, King Arthur. That's 5 commanders. And for the 6th one, I guess you can either use William or XY. I would say go with William. If you do have a good Delta formation, you can also try Arthur with Attila. That's a possibility. Arthur primary, Attila secondary, of course. But if you don't have Attila and if you don't have a good Delta formation armaments, then you're just going to go for skill damage. So in this case, William has to be the secondary. Arthur has to be the secondary. Bailey also has to be the secondary. So these are going to be our secondaries because they must be the secondaries, right? Maybe it's not going to sound ideal, but I will probably split all my AoE damages. Synergy-wise, it's not going to look good. 2 options, right? The one that makes most sense is going to be, you're going to go Huo with Belisarius, you're going to go Nevsky William, and you're going to go Joan with Arthur. This is like the one that makes most sense, I guess, because Huo Belly is also just so good, even though they are like both single target, but it's just such a great march. And the one that where you split all your AoE damage, Nevsky with William, Huo with Arthur, and Joan with Belly Prime. XY re-enter are okay? I don't think so. Now, I would rather use William instead of XY. Yeah, so if you want to split all your 3 AoEs, you go with this configuration. You go Nevsky, behind him is going to have William. You go Huo with King Arthur, and you go Joan primary and Belisarius secondary. This is sounding a little bit weird, like it doesn't make most sense because you're using Joan with Belly, and it's an unknown march. I might actually make a video about this. But if you guys don't know why AoE is important, it's because of this. So let's go to level 79, for example. Let's attack a random march. So tricky to have 3 cavalry marches, but I think it's a really good time to have 3 cavalry marches if you want to. So here's what happens. When you're fighting on the field, this is why AoE is important. Of course, AoE always deals more damage. It is really good compared to single target, just damage-wise. However, the thing about AoE is, when you're attacking a target, you are also dealing damage to other targets. So in open field, if both commanders deal single target damage and you have no AoE, then this commander dies. If you kill this commander, your rage bar instantly gets zeroed. You have to start gaining rage from the scratch. Okay? It doesn't matter if you have almost max rage, it gets zeroed. However, when you deal AoE damage to other marches, even if the march that you are targeting dies, since you are technically in combat with other marches as well, your rage bar just keeps continue from where it left. It doesn't care if your primary target died or not. And that's why it is important to have at least one AoE commander in your march. That's the thing. That is why AoE is so good or so important in field fighting. Attila is the best pair. So you say Arthur primary, Attila secondary, right? Because otherwise Arthur will be just skill damage. So I'm going to use Attila as a secondary, but when you use him as a secondary, you don't benefit from this that much. You want this 30% normal damage bonus first, and then you want King Arthur's active skill. It is, I guess, the only pairing that I would try as Arthur primary. But I guess the best one is going to be Arthur primary, Liu Che secondary in the KVK, where you can switch the troop type of a commander. You switch Liu Che to Cavalry, you put Arthur behind him, you have Liu Che. That march is going to like wreck everyone. Yeah, normal damage trade is the best. That is true, but I wish we could have used Attila primary, Arthur secondary, and still get that combo attack bonuses instead of the skill damage. But having that skill damage, shenanigans, it makes the commander super versatile. Liu Che makes everyone look so good. That is true. 100%. My cammars are XY William, Nevsky Joan, Huo Belisarius. Who to swap, who to bench. XY. Easy. If you want to make your marches even better, maybe you can include Philip to the equation. Let's take a look at the leadership. This guy is also so versatile, so good. But the problem with this one is, for example, you can use Philip primary, Arthur secondary, okay? Then you will need leadership gear, which is highly unlikely that you'll have it, unless you're a high spender. One of the problems with Philip, when you use him as a primary, you need a leadership gear. And Mars speed, simple as that. And that's a problem. If you use Philip as a secondary with Arthur, it gives damage bonus, but he is the secondary, so it doesn't really matter. It gives cav attack, doesn't really matter. 30% more damage is really good. And this is also really good. 10% chance to deal increase, because since Arthur does have, chances to deal extra combo attacks, the chances of you triggering this is super high. And maybe the damage is not that substantial, but reducing rage by 100 and cooldown only 3 seconds is really good. And this one, Arthur uses active skill for a second time. So yeah, you can definitely go with Arthur and Philip as well. Bailey Philip, but then Bailey needs to be the primary and his 3 is just so bad. We should wait for the other Cav. Oh, the other one with the MGE and such. I don't think we should be investing on it. Like, for example, a bunch of people did invest on Gorgo, but then next cycle, William Wallace, perfect. No need for Gorgo for open field anymore.